Okay, class. Good afternoon to each of you.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, sir.
Okay,
Good
by the
afternoon.
way,
Good afternoon, sir.
good afternoon, class. So, by the way, before we start our class, our discussion for today, may I call on Miss Maylin Alayan to lead our prayer? Oh, so there, Mr. Mina, may you lead the prayer?
Okay, sir. Let us bow our head and put ourselves to the blessings of the Lord in the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Dear God and Father of all, thank you for today. Thank you for ways in which you provide for us all. For your protection and love, we thank you. Help us to focus our hearts and minds now on what we have now that now on what we are about to learn. Inspire us by your Holy Spirit as we listen and write. Guide us by your eternal lights as we discover more about the world around us. We ask all this in the name of Jesus. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you. Now, I will introduce myself. I will be your teacher for today's lesson. My name is Sir Carlo Mardi Torres, and you may call me Sir Carlo. So, before we start in our discussion, may I introduce to you my classroom, this virtual classroom rules. So, first, in our virtual rule is always be prepared because anytime and any one of you I will call in every questions that I will ask. So the next one will be mute your microphones. So the other students may not be distracted if there is an unnecessary words or voices. And may I call on Miss Secretary. Miss Secretary, Jessalyn Natok, may I know who is absent or absentees for this juncture?
There are no absentees, sir.
Okay, class. Very good. So there is no absentees in this today's discussion. It is nice to hear because because of that, I know that all of you are willing to learn in today's discussion. So, who among you know or remember our last discussion last last Friday? Who among you? Um,
Sir,
yes, Miss Kayan.
sir, the topic that we discussed last meeting is about the 1935 or the Commonwealth Constitution po, sir.
Okay, very good, Miss De Castro. So because of that, can you remember the ideas or the knowledge that you have gained in the past lesson that we have tackled?
Sir,
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Miss Mendoza.
so the 1935 or the Commonwealth Constitution, it served our nation well. So it gave the Philippines 26 years of stable constitutional government during a period when a number of other Asian states were succumbing to military dictatorship or communist revolution. That's all po, sir.
Okay, very good, Miss Nadet. Excellent. Because of that you have a remembered our last discussion. I will give you a some present after this class. So before that, may I call on of all your attention. So please open your cameras so I can see your beautiful and handsome faces. Anyone? Please open your cameras so I can see your beautiful and handsome faces. So, very good class. So, for the next discussion, uh, I will have an activity entitled First Impression. So, you can guess or you can have an idea on what we will have been tackled for today's lesson. Are you ready, guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And you have only 2 to 3 minutes to answer the guide questions right after I show you the picture. Do you understand? Do you have any clarifications?
And so far, sir.
Understood,
Okay.
sir.
So this is the picture that you will get to impress with. So the first guide question or the question is, what is your first impression looking at the photo? Then the next one, are these contribution to the Philippines brought us prosperity? And the last guide question is, if you were him, what will you do differently? So you have 2 minutes to answer, and your timer starts now. Oh, bro. Napunta sa YouTube. Hmm. So, class, you have only 60 seconds to answer the three guide questions. Last 30 seconds, class. Last 5 seconds. So, class, time is up. So, class, are you done?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Um, may I call on the attention of Miss Jessalinato? Please answer the guide question number one.
So, guide question number one, what is your first impression looking at the photo? My first impression is that I saw familiarity with the picture because he is no other than the former President Ferdinand Marcos. I honestly don't know what to feel and what to say because he is one of the keys toward the Philippines' industrialization, infrastructure, and economic and social reforms. Yet, he is known for being a dictator, and many Filipinos attest to his harsh governance in the past. That's all, sir.
Okay, thank you for your wonderful idea. So, next question. May I call on the attention of Mr. Jimson Solis?
Yes, sir. Guide question number two. Are his contributions to the Philippines brought us prosperity? So as per Miss Jesselinatok said that he was the 10th president of the Philippines and he is Ferdinand Marcos that brought prosperity when it comes to industrial and infrastructures like what we have still have today the lung center, heart center, and kidney center was because of Ferdinand Marcos, and it brought prosperity in a way that it is easier for Filipinos to cure such, for example, heart conditions disease. That's all, sir.
Excellent, Mr. Jimson. You have an idea. So, the last guide question. Please may I call on the attention of Miss Kayan De Castro. Hello, are you there, Miss Kayan De Castro? Okay, it seems that there have a technicality in Miss Kayan De Castro. So, anyone from the class can answer the guide question number 3.
Sir.
Oh yes, Miss Nadet Mendoza, please proceed.
So the question is, if you were him, what will you do differently? So if I were him, what I will do differently is that I will not impose martial law because that's where the hate started. That's all po, sir. So everything that not everything, but most of his work is really ano po, tawag dito, napapakinabangan hanggang ngayon po.
So, thank you very much for your wonderful idea. So, because of the 3 guide questions and the answers of your classmates, um, do you know what is our topic for today? Anyone from the
Sir.
class? Oh, Mr. Sisa.
Yes, sir. So I think our topic is somehow related to the late President Ferdinand E. Marcos.
Oh, you're right. A little bit. You almost there, Sir Philip. Mr. Philip, you're almost there. Anyone from the class?
Sure.
Yes,
Sir.
Miss Heisel.
Sir, I think our topic for today is all about the 1973 constitutional authoritarianism.
Okay, very good, Miss Linatok. Yes, Heisel Linatok. Our lesson for today is the 1973 constitutional authoritarianism. So, based on that, here are our objectives to uh, here are the objectives that we need in this lesson for today's lesson. The first one is by the end of the lesson, student should be able to define and explain authoritarianism. Then the next one, appreciate the significance of the 1973 constitutional authoritarianism through an essay. And the last one, objectives that we need to conquer in this lesson. Create an output showing the importance of understanding the 1973 constitutional authoritarianism. Did my objectives clear, students?
Yes, yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Yes,
It
sir.
seems it seems that the objectives is clear. So I will present to you another activity. So you have been guided and to gain more and knowledge about uh, what is our lesson for today. So for you to understand more about our topic for today, each of you will be given 5 minutes to finish the task. And the activity that I will give to each of you is a timeline organizer. Do you know how to build a timeline organizer, class?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So you have a knowledge. And then you are free to use any resources you have available to conduct our timeline organizer. So you may write it in a short bond paper, and I will ask you to upload the photo afterwards to our group chat. Um, I will ask two to three persons to present their works. So each of you may know the other ideas or work of your classmates. So here are the guide dates for your reference for your timeline organizer. It is the 1965, 1967, 1969, 1970, 1971, 1972, 1973, 1980, 1981, and the last one is the 1986. So you may use this template for your timeline organizer. So this is your, for example, guide on doing your timeline organizer. So this is the template. So do you have any questions about our activity for today on your?
None, sir.
No question,
Okay,
sir.
thank you. Thank you so much. So, if there is no clarifications, do you understand that we will what we will you do? So, your timer starts now. You have last 3 minutes. Last 2 minutes. Go students, you can do it. Last 1 minute. Last 15 seconds. Okay, class. Are you done? Your time has expired.
Yes, sir.
Are you done, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So before we proceed to the presentation of your works, each of you please take a photo of your work. Then please send it in our GC, in our group chat, so I can check it later after our class. I will give you 1 minute to do what to do that. So please proceed. Okay, class, are you done taking a photo? And remember, and please guided that please send it into our GC so I can check it later.
Okay, sir.
Are you done, class?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And now, I will call on two students to present their work. Please, please, I may call on your attention, Mr. Philip Sisa, to show your work in the
Yes,
class.
sir. So for the 1973 constitutional authoritarianism, 1965, Ferdinand E. Marcos was elected president. 1967, Philippine Congress passed a resolution calling for a constitutional convention to change the 1935 constitution. 1969, Marcos won the re-election. 1970, elections of the delegates to the Constitutional Convention was held. And that convention began formally on 1971, with former President Carlos P. Garcia being elected as convention president. 1972, the convention approved the proposed constitution by President Marcos. 1973, the president or Mr. President issued a proclamation announcing that the proposed constitution has been ratified by an overwhelming vote of the members of the highly irregular citizen assemblies. 1980, the retirement age of members of the judiciary was extended to 70 years. In 1981, the parliamentary system was formally modified to a French style semi-presidential system where executive power was restored to the president, who was once again to be directly elected. An executive committee was to be created, composed of the prime minister and 14 others, that served as the president's cabinet, and some electoral reforms were instituted. 1986. So this is where everything fall down for for President Marcos and his family. So basically, under pressure from the 19 sorry under pressure from the 1896 People Power Revolution, uh, they flew to the United States of America, and the first female president of the Philippines was installed as president, which was Corazon Aquino. That's it, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for your work. And may I call on another student? May I call on her attention, Miss Haisel Inatok?
So actually, sir, I have the same answer like Mr. Philip Sisa, but if you will allow me to repeat it, okay, I will show or present my output.
Okay, Miss.
Okay,
Please proceed.
let's start with 1965. In 1965, Ferdinand E. Marcos was elected as president. In 1967, the Philippine Congress passed a resolution calling for a constitutional convention to change the 1935 Constitution. And in 1969, Marcos won the re-election in a bid boosted by campaign overspeeding and the use of government funds. On November 20, 1970 or 1970, there is an election of delegates which there are conventions started formally on June 1, 1971 with former President Carlos Garcia. And on that day, Diosdado Macapagal also died, and there's also a communist insurgency where delegates were placed behind the bars and others had voluntarily exiled. While on 1972, to make it complete, November 29, 1972, there's a proposed constitution was approved. And that is Marcos dictated some provisions of the constitution manipulating the document. On the other hand, in January 17, 1973, he issued a proclamation wherein the Constitution have been ratified by the overwhelming vote of the members of the highly irregular citizens' assemblies. And to add this, in 1976, there's a citizen assemblies decided to allow the continuation of martial law. We all know that there's martial law during the time of Marcos. So here we also have the following amendments. The following amendments are interim batasang pambansa to substitute for interim National Assembly, and the president to become the prime minister. Martial law was lifted for emergency basis. And for the next, we have the 1980, where situation had been very turbulent. And as Marcos amassed power, discontent has also been burgeoning. And in August 1983, yes, like what Mr. Philip Sisa said, Benigno came over and most credible alternative was assassinated after his exile from US. And here it happens, the EDSA Power Revolution exists, and now under the EDSA People Revolution, we have here former President Corazon Cuanco Aquino. That's it, sir.
Okay, thank you very much for your presentations of your ideas regards the our activity. So because of that you have gained knowledge about on what we will discuss for today. Here are some guide questions to answer. So our lessons have been tackled intact in your minds and always will be remembered. So here are some questions that you need to answer. So the first one. So the first one, based on the activity, how will you define authoritarianism
Sorry, sir.
from the class? Okay, Mr. Jimson, please proceed.
Sir, based on the activity, authoritarianism is a form of government that is characterized by rejection of plurality, the use of strong central power to reserve the political status quo, and reductions in the rule of law, such as separation of powers and democratic voting. So another one is authoritarianism is characterized by highly concentrated and centralized government power maintained by political repression and the exclusion of potential challengers, and it uses political parties and mass organization to mobilize people around the goals of the regime, just like what Ferdinand Marcos has done in the Philippines it is when his time in his time. Thank you, sir.
Okay, very good. Exactly. So we can define authoritarianism through this. Authoritarianism is a form of government. What Mr. Jimson said, that it is characterized by the rejection of the political plural, excuse me, plural, plurality, and the use of strong central power of preserved political status. So here, in the political status, if you have an influence here in the government, if you have a power in the government, so it can affect the our government. Then, and reductions in the rule of law, separation of power. So here, um, our constitution have, or our the Senate have been divided into, or been separated into three branches, and the democratic voting. So here, the democratic voting, what we call this, the elections of the different sectors. For example, in local, barangay, and also in the national level of voting. Right now, we will have, if I'm not mistaken, all of you, or not, some of you are voters, am I right? So on May 9, we will experience a democratic voting. So vote wisely, choose properly, and then also the authoritarianism is characterized by highly concentrated and centralized government power, maintained by political representation and the execution of the potential challengers. It is the political parties and mass organization to mobilize people around the goals of the regime. So that, in that state, we can characterize of what is authoritarianism. So, do you have any clarifications regards to authoritarianism, students?
None, sir.
None so far.
Answer.
Okay, so we'll proceed to the next one. The next question will be, what happened to the constitution under authoritarianism? What
Sir.
happened? Okay,
Sir.
Miss Hazel Linato.
An authoritarian constitution that successfully coordinates government action and defines popular expectations can also help consolidate the regime's grip on power by inhibiting recoordination in different set of arrangements. Unlike the democratic constitutions or authoritarian constitutions do not set direct limits on executive authority. However, in some cases, such documents may function as ways for elites to protect their own property rights or constrain autocrats' behavior.
Okay, thank you for your idea, Miss Hazel Linato. Oh, okay. Anyone from the class? Any ideas regards what happens to the constitution under authoritarianism? Okay, so the constitution under the authoritarianism is an authoritarianism constitution that successfully coordinates government actions and defines popular expectations, can also help consolidate the regime's grip on power, inhibiting recoordination on different set of arrangements. So, unlike the democratic constitution, the authoritarian constitution do not set direct limits. Costs such as documents may function as ways for elites to protect their own property rights, constraints autocrats' behavior. So that is what happened under constitution under authoritarians. So do you have any questions? Any clarifications regard what
None, sir.
happened? Okay,
None,
Mr.
sir.
Mina? Oh, okay, class. Do you so now the next question will be, what important event happened in 24th of August 1970 that changed the shape of the Congress? It is based on your activity that you have done earlier. So anyone?
Sir,
Yes, Miss Maylin.
ah, the important event that happened in 24th of August 1970 that changed the shape of Congress is the Congress enacted the Republic Act number 6132, otherwise known as the Constitutional Convention Act, for the purpose of convening a constitutional
Yes, Miss Maylin, you can do it.
like the process of
Go,
government.
Miss Maylin. Miss Maylin, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that so, Miss Maylin?
All po.
Okay. Thank you very much. Excuse me, class. Okay, so on August 24, 1970, what Miss Maylin said, the Congress enacted RA number 6132, or otherwise known as the Constitutional Convention Act, for the purpose of convening a constitutional convention. While in the process of drafting a new constitution, the President Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law on September 21, 1972. So here you can see, or you can say that through this important event that happened in August 24, 1970. Ferdinand Marcos, um, because of this drafting of this new constitution, our president Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law on September 21, 1972. So, any clarifications regards on what important event that happened on August 24, 1970? Anyone from the class? Any clarifications?
None,
Violent
sir.
reactions? Okay, thank you so much. So now, okay, Miss Nadette, may I call your attention? Please turn off your microphones. Your microphone. Okay, thank you so much, Miss Nadette. Okay, the next one will be, what did President Marcos do on January 1973? Anyone? Anyone from the class?
Sir.
Okay,
Sir,
Mr. Sisa.
Uh, so, sir, in January 1973, Marcos proclaimed the ratification of new constitution based on the parliamentary system, with himself as both president and prime minister. He did not, however, convene the interim legislature that was called for in and that document.
Okay, exactly. So, on January 1973, that Mr. President Marcos do is what Mr. Philip said. So, in January 1973, Marcos proclaimed the ratification of new constitution based on the parliamentary system, with himself as both president and the prime minister of our country. He did not, however, convene the interim legislature that was called for in that document. So Mr. Marcos, or the late the late President Marcos, did not convene the intern legislature and was called the document in in January 1973. So you have any questions? Class, do you have any questions? Don't be shy to ask questions.
none, sir.
Okay, ma'am.
No more questions, sir.
Thank you, Miss Linatok and Miss Kayan. So now, what is the 1973 Constitution about?
De Castro, sir.
Okay, Miss De Castro, please proceed.
So the 1973 Constitution about is promulgated after Marcos' declaration of martial law, was supposed to introduce a parliamentary-style government. Legislative power was vested in a unicameral National Assembly, whose members were elected for 6-year terms. So the president was ideally elected as the symbolic and purely ceremonial head of a state, chosen from amongst the members of the National Assembly for a 6-year term, and could be re-elected to an unlimited number of terms upon. Basically, upon election, the president ceased to be a member of the National Assembly. During his term, the president was not allowed to be a member of a political party or hold any other officer. That's all.
Okay, thank you for showcasing your idea. Regards to what Miss Kayan De Castro said, is it's all right. That's what happened. So the 1973 Constitution promulgated after Marcos Declaration of Martial Law. Was supposed to introduce a parliamentary style government. Legislative power was vested in unicameral National Assembly whose members were elected for 6 years. So what we have called 6 years is in the national elections. For example, the president, the in the Senate, which are the senators, then the the partner of the president, which is the vice president. So in this constitution, it was proposed to each member of the National Assembly or the National Cabinet. Um, it members was elected to be proclaimed in that specific position for 6 years term, 6 year term, and then the president was ideally elected as the symbolic and purely ceremonial head of state chosen from among the members of National Assembly for a 6 year term and could be re-elected to an unlimited number of terms. Upon election, the president ceased to be a member of National Assembly. During his term, the president was not allowed to be a member of political party or hold any other office. So here, for example, you are you have a party. For example, the Nationalist Party, the Federalist Party. So after you win or won, being a president here in our you have no rights to be in that specific political party, and you will not hold any other office not other than the president or your position only. So do myself clear, class? Do you have any questions, violent reactions regards to the explanation?
None,
No,
sir.
none, sir.
Answer.
Okay, the next one will be Marcus also issued PD number 73 on 30th of November 1973. What was it all about? Anyone?
Sir.
Sir,
Um, anyone?
De Castro, sir.
Okay, Miss De Castro.
So it is all about the decree, includes number one, the ratification of the Constitution. So two, suspend the convening of the interim National Assembly. Number three, continue the martial law. And then the last one is place a moratorium on elections for a period of at least several years. Thank you, sir.
Okay, Miss De Castro. Thank you for your idea, and what you said is right. So here are the three include the degree. So here are the three degree that includes. It is the ratification of Constitution, suspended and conveying of the interim National Assembly, continued the martial law, and placed a moratorium on election for a period at least several years. Do you understand what we have been tackled earlier? The questions and the explanations that we said. Do you understand of what we are of our what is our lesson for today?
Everything is clear, sir.
Okay, thank you. Anyone? Other? How about the others? Do you understand?
Yes, sir. Everything is clear, sir.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much. So, after that, we will have another activity. So, based on the knowledge and ideas that you gain in the discussion, write an essay about the 1973 constitutional authoritarianism. So, you have 5 minutes to answer, and your timer starts now. Last 4 minutes. Last 2 minutes. Okay, last 70 seconds. Last 30 seconds, class. Last 10 seconds. So, class, your time has expired. So, I advise, may I call on your all of your attention. So please guided that take a photo of your answers. Then please send it in our group chat. Do I make myself clear, students?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because of that, we will
Yes, sir.
proceed to our quiz. In our quiz will be share in the screen. So please be guided, and each after answering each question, we will answer. Do you understand, class? Okay. So read and analyze the following sentence. It is a form of government characterized by rejection of political plurality, the use of strong central power to preserve the political status, and reduction in the law and separation of power. So you have only 10 seconds to answer this question. Starts now. So okay, class. Um, may I call on Miss Haisel Inatok? Please answer the question number one. Oh, it seems Miss Haisel is not there. So Mr. Mark Anthony Mina. Hello.
Yes, sir. Can you
Okay,
please repeat the
Mr.
question?
It is a form of government characterized by the rejection of political plurality, the use of strong central power to preserve the political status, and reduction in the rule of law, separation of powers, and democratic voting. What do you think is the answer?
I think authoritarianism, sir.
Okay, that's right. The answer is authoritarianism. The next question. This constitution is promulgated after Marcos' declaration of martial law, was supposed to introduce a parliamentary style government. You have 5 seconds to answer this question. Your timer starts now. Okay? Anyone from the class who have the answer?
Sir.
Okay, Miss Nadet, please answer.
Sir, the answer is the 1973 Constitution.
Okay, very good, Miss Nadet. The answer is the 1973 Constitution. We'll proceed to the third question. And the third question is, when was the Congress enacted RA number 6132, otherwise known as the Constitutional Convention Act, for the purpose of convening a constitutional convention? Anyone from the class?
Sir Dinato Kaisel.
Okay, Miss Linatok.
The correct answer, sir, is August 24, 1970.
Okay, that's correct. Very good, Miss Heisel. The answer is the August 24, 1970. Then the next one will be when President Marcos proclaimed the ratification of a new constitution based on the parliamentary system with himself as both president and the prime minister. Who knows the answer?
Sir?
Sir, si Castro po.
Okay, Miss De Castro, please proceed.
The answer is January 1972, sir.
Okay, the answer is January 1972. You're right, Miss Kayan. So the next question, when was President Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law? May I hear Miss May Ann Alayan? Okay, it seems that there have a interruption or internet distraction in Miss Alayan. So anyone
So
from the
can
Sir.
I
class?
answer
Sisa,
instead?
sir. Sisa.
Okay. Yes, Mr. Sisa.
When was President? Alright, that's September 21, 1972, sir.
Okay, very good, Mr. Sisa. You remembered. So the answer is September 21, 1972. So we will go to the next part of our quiz. It is the modified true or false. Write T if the statement is correct. If the statement is incorrect, please write the words that makes it wrong. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Question number one. Authoritarianism is characterized by highly concentrated and centralized government, power maintained by political representation, and exclusion of potential challengers. It is a true or a false?
True,
Anyone?
sir. True. Linatok
O-
po.
okay. Your answer is correct, Miss Haisel Natok. So the answer is true, or letter T. So the next question, President Ferdinand Marcos declared martial law on Sep- September 31st, 1972. It is a
False,
fact
sir.
of it is a true or false.
False po.
Okay, what it makes it
Because,
false?
sir, the date which is the 31, it should be 21, September 21, 1972.
Okay, very good, Miss Mendoza. The word September 31, 1972. It must be September 21, 1972. So the next one, the 1973 Constitution, promoted after Marcos' declaration of martial law, was supposed to introduce a parliamentary style government. It is a true or false?
Sisa, sir. False.
Okay, what word that make it false?
Promoted.
Okay, very good. It must be, Mr. Sisa, what word? It must be proclaimed. So we'll proceed to number four. So number four, authoritarianism is a form of government characterized by the rejection of political plurality, the use of strong central power to preserve the political status, and reduction in the rule of law, separation of powers, and democratic voting. It is a true or false?
True,
Sir
sir.
Linatok.
Okay, it is true. Letter T. So the last one is, in November 16, 1970, the Congress enacted RA number 6132, otherwise known as the Constitutional Convention Act, for the purpose of convening a constitutional convention. It is a true or false? May I hear the answer of Miss Jessa Linatok?
It is false, sir.
Okay. What word it make it word or words that make it false?
The date, sir. November 16, 1970 is wrong.
Okay. It must be.
Sir, it must be August 24, 1970.
Okay. Thank you so much, Miss Nadet. Uh, may I ask who have get the perfect score? The who got 10.
De Castro, sir.
Okay, very good. Who else?
Mendoza, sir.
Sisa, sir.
Oh, very good, Mr. Sisa. Anyone? All of you got perfect score or do you have
No, sir.
any?
I
Yes,
got
miss.
8.
Okay,
I get
sir.
I got 8.
Okay. Lower than 8? Okay. There's no one. So, thank you. Before we leave this meeting, I will leave an assignment. Your assignment is study your next lesson in the Philippine history, and next meeting please prepare art materials. Do I make myself clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. So class, thank you for listening. I hope that all of you have knowledge that have been gained in this in this discussion. So thank you so much for listening and for your time. Um, I'm Teacher Carlo signing out. Bye bye, guys.
Thank
Thank
you
you,
po.
sir.
Thank you
Thank you,
po.
sir.